As you probably know, AI is all the rage these days, especially of a certain age, are developing an aversion to learning curves. And the older I get, the more this pertains to me. Now, I'd played around with AI a couple of times, but I never really got into it. So I decided to seriously focus on AI and use it to see just how much help it can be. Now, I just hate shopping for computers. It's a big expense, but I don't buy computers often enough to stay on top of all the technology. I always feel like I'm being sold what the store has in stock instead of what might be best for my needs. And, they say things like, well, Gizmo 3.0 is so much better than Gizmo 2.0 that it's worth the upgrade fees, when I don't really know what gizmos do at all. So it's that kind of uncomfortable feeling. And with technology moving so rapidly, I have trouble confidently telling a salesperson what I'm looking for, because I really don't know all the newer stuff. I mean, regular old Wi-Fi versus Wi-Fi 6. I mean, yikes. Now, the process causes me to worry, and I really try to avoid things in my life that might make me worry. And the reason I'm telling you all this is that my desktop computer that I'm working on right now while I talk to you runs on Windows 10, and its hardware won't update to Windows 11. Now, my computer runs fine, does everything that I need, but Microsoft has announced that they're going to stop supporting Windows 10 next October. Now, Windows 10 computers will still run, but the lack of security updates after October means it'll be easier and easier to get hacked as time goes on. So that means I'm going to buy a new computer, because I cannot take any chances with your data that might be on this computer. But the number of decisions that I need to make to get just the right system that might last me another 10 years like this one has is where my aversion to learning curve starts kicking in. So I decided to use the power of AI to help me decide what computer system would be best for me. Now, the whole process, including buying a new computer, was over in about 30 minutes, with just a few AI prompts getting me much better clarity and simplicity than I ever got from Google. And here's how I did it. I started with Copilot, which is a free AI feature in Microsoft's Bing browser. But I quickly realized that Copilot was recommending only Microsoft products. And so I quickly switched over to Perplexity AI for these searches. And that's what the screen you see up here is a Perplexity screen. Now, Perplexity is regarded as a leading AI for research, general research, rather than for creating images or doing writing like you might have done before. I use the free version of Perplexity, by the way, so there's no real cost in this. Now, in these slides, you can see the prompt I entered at the top of the screen. And then the answer below is normally followed by several specific recommendations in case you want to shop or do some more research on your own. But I've left those off so I don't clutter up the screen. My first prompt you can see here at the top of the slide was trying to figure out the scope of the problem. I asked AI how many Windows computers were still running around the world. And the answer is around 1 billion. Now, my second prompt asked how many of these billion computers might not be able to update to Windows 11. The answer is about 30 to 40%. So I took that and I started doing some math. Now, the math says that 40% of a billion is 400 million. And from here, I had to assume that about half of those unupgradable computers would be sold and upgraded, and half would go on in blissful ignorance of the risk they take. Now, in a normal year, about 200 million Microsoft operating system computers are sold. If half of those unupgradable computers do get replaced, that creates another 200 million computer buyers next year, doubling the normal sales volume in the next 12 months. I took that to mean don't expect a lot of good sales on the kind of computers that I need, and I shouldn't wait to go computer shopping. My next prompt was getting right down to the red meat of this. And the first thing I did was tell the AI what role I wanted to play. And this helps the AI focus its resources on the area that you're thinking about. I told it, you are a technology advisor, and I need a computer, and I often have 10 to 20 tabs open at a time. I work with large databases and large spreadsheets, and I also need portability. What kind of computer would work well for me? I received a concise 177-word response, which was refreshingly shorter than pages of Google-listed websites that might or might not have my answer buried in there somewhere, or it might just have been ads for, sponsored websites instead of what really I needed. Perplexity listed several options that are summarized here at the bottom of this slide. It said that I needed a laptop with high performance chips, a minimum of 32 gigabytes of memory, and I really would have been off on this one if I had to guess. I probably would have ended up with half of the memory I needed because 32 is a lot more memory than the old computers used to have. It also said get a solid state storage, which is different than a hard disk with moving parts, and also look for something with high-end graphics capabilities. So in just a few minutes, I was really getting some solid answers. It was really just a few seconds, not even a few minutes. My next prompt asked, can a tablet do this instead of a laptop? And notice that I didn't have to tell AI what this was. It knew. It knew that this was just a continuation of the conversation we were already having, just like if you and I were talking. The answer was yes, if it's a high-end laptop. As it turns out, my wife got me an iPad for Christmas last year that was high-end enough that qualified. And I'm thinking, wow, I saved $1,000. This is great. I'll just use my iPad. But I have some industry-specific programming that I use, especially for charting and some analysis things. And I've learned that some of them don't translate well to Apple, or it used to be Apple. Apple's now pretty agnostic to where these programs start. But iPads and phones use mobile systems rather than the desktop operating systems. So I thought I better check that out. And sure enough, one of my programs that I use every day will not run on the iPad. So that line of inquiry came to a real quick halt. At Costco, I went online and I searched for a 32 gig laptop. And I found a great buy, one that seemed to me to meet all of Perplexity's specifications. So just to be sure, I asked Perplexity, would this computer work? And Perplexity says, it's an excellent choice. I felt like I got a gold star. Anyway, to wrap this up, instead of spending several days worrying about the technical issues and trying to educate myself on Wi-Fi and solid state disks and things like that, tearing out what little hair I had left, my shopping is done and I'm comfortable with the choice. I spent about 15 minutes on the AI and another 15 minutes checking out my software requirements and looking at Costco's offerings for computers. And I was done. 30 minutes, I was done. Now, there's a lot of free AI tools out there to use in addition to Copilot and Perplexity. The industry leader, the thing that really put artificial intelligence in our consciousness about 2 years ago, is a company called ChatGPT. They have a free version. Apple and Google have free AI facilities in their products as well. So I encourage you, check these out. They're so simple, as you saw on those slides, to do, and the answers are so understandable. I really like this new technology, and I may have to push myself a little bit to expand my horizons, but I really feel that this is the kind of thing that's going to keep this old fogey from becoming a dinosaur when it comes to technology.